So I graduated from Castlemont High School. I went to the University of Colorado I graduated in 78. So I started in 78 at University of Colorado at Boulder. I was a psych major, and I was doing pretty good. After 2 years, I was an honor student, and then I started to get ill. People might call it chronic fatigue now, multiple chemical sensitivity. I just couldn't take it, and I got stressed out. I couldn't work, so I gave up. See, I can almost trace the moment where I let down some, and it's like the darkness came to me, that desperation. And there, a few months later, I had totally given up. I was watching a movie called The Long Riders. It was about the Jesse James gang and Cole Younger gang. And I said, bank robbery, that's an idea. So it was an idea. I had never been involved in any kind of crime or anything like that. And next thing, I stole a car. I stole guns from a gun store. I robbed the bank, and I'm off back going to Colorado because I wanted to live in the mountains. But got caught in Wyoming, and after a high-speed chase down the highway, I gave up. But they had to surround me, and I was looking down the barrel of a M16, the civilian version. And I was thinking at that time I'd just jump out with my gun because I had a 9mm, and it'd be over. Luckily, something came over me, and I said, okay, I'll just cool out and I'll go along. And I did 2 years, and I didn't like it.
You didn't get shot?
Not then. I got shot later.
Later.
I got out in 2 years. I came back to Oakland halfway house. It wasn't working out, and I wasn't taking responsibility for it, so I said, no, forget you people, I'm gone. So I went off again. Now I'm on escape status. And I went to Denver, and I robbed another bank, downtown Denver. I left for a few weeks, came back, and I walked into a stakeout. FBI agents were staking out all the banks looking for somebody else. But see, at this point, I had this feeling of being alone. I was alone in the world. I was like a soldier behind enemy lines, and I had to do what I needed to do to survive. And you feel this inner despair and desperation. But at the same time, though, I had studied spiritual things for long. There was hope there, but it was like on the back burner, and I was going to play desperado. So I came back, and I walked in the stakeout, and 2 FBI agents thought I looked familiar because they probably seen my photo from before, and they tried to stop me, and then there was a foot chase. So I outran those 2, but I didn't know there was other FBI agents. So after 2 blocks, I ran by a bank. A guy tried to grab me. I ran through him, even though he clotheslined me. I'm still going for 2 more blocks, but then I'm thinking, uh-oh, they can catch me. But they're not going to take me this time. So I had a knife, and I pulled out my knife, and I opened it. And the last guy caught up with me, and he was telling me to stop, but I turned around with the knife, and I was standing there, and he got in his crouch, and he was telling me, drop it. And I'm just thinking, nope, I'm not going. I'm very calm, and I'm thinking, last thing I thought, not my will, but thine be done. And I charged him. And made him shoot me. I got shot 3 times.
By him? Yeah,
I kept going though. He had no choice, and I actually went so fast I fell on him. I was that quick, so luckily all of them didn't hit me dead center. One went in and out my chest, and the other 2 went to the side and shattered my arm. 2 missed me. But the moment that I realized I was laying on top of him, and I could still remember the gun clicking because he was still trying to shoot, and I realized I was right above him. See, I never moved my arm. I wasn't trying to stab him. I realized, but I'm going to die. So I rolled over thinking I'm going to die, but boom, it all lit up. I had it would probably happen in a microsecond, but I seen myself teaching in the future, and everything cleared, and I said, uh-oh, I've done screwed up here. And then, but from that moment was transforming power came through me, and I knew it was real. I mean, I have the word now, then it just came through me, but it cleared my head, and I got 20 more years added to my 6. 20 more years, and I did 11 more. That time they had federal parole, but those 11 years weren't torturous anymore, because now I knew I had to live where I was at. I could be free in my own mind, and I spent my time educating myself, dealing with the barriers. See, I had to deal with myself first. I had to believe I could deal with the suffering around me, that the physical environment. And I've learned to manage. So I manage my condition. My diet and strict and stuff like that. But that's why I know, when the belief's not there that you can manage, you don't do it under stress.
You did all this by yourself? You had no counseling or anything like that?
Oh, I had good books.
Books, the books
I had very good. Oh, people constantly came in and helped us. That was good. When I was in federal prison, there were lots of programs.
Oh, really?
And that's one thing why I went to everything I could. I went to the
did?
Jewish group. I went to the Muslim groups. I
Okay.
went to alternative violence. I went to Quaker. I went to Buddhist.
All of that was in the prison?
Native American Sweat Lodge. There were different groups there. And I went to all of them just to be with people and learn positive things. I got my college degree inside. Chapman University had a site near Vandenberg. I was in U.S. Penitentiary at Lompoc in my last 5 years.
Is that New York?
No, Vandenberg is the Air Force Base in Central California.
Lompoc? What's the name of the place?
Lompoc. Lompoc's down
California.
there. It's between Santa Barbara and San Luis
How do you spell Lompoc? L-O-M-P-O-C?
Yeah.
Lompoc,
Some people might
California.
say Lompoc.
California.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, where is it located? In California?
Yeah, Central Coast.
Central.
North of Santa Barbara and south of San Luis Obispo.
Or do they still have all of those programs that you just described?
Well, they don't have the college program anymore because one thing that happened is about 1993, the Congress voted to eliminate Pell Grants for prisoners. So that really hurt the college programs because they eliminated that. See, we were getting educated by Pell Grants, but actually the university waived most of the fees, but they got some from the Pell Grants. And that was an important project. Few people who get college education while they're in prison recidivate, go back. So education is a key to keeping people from going back, but we've cut it. Unfortunately, some people think that's like pampering people, but actually it's curing them.
Well, yes, that's why I was thinking when you mentioned all the things that you'd said that you had done. I'm so glad that we heard about all of those programs that you went to, because I thought you were doing all of this all by yourself.
I did I had lots of time to sit and read and write. I learned to write. I learned to write screenplays. I learned to meditate better. I always did. I mean, I had books. One of my favorite books was The Act of Will by Robert Assagioli. That's helped me through all the things, learning to be more self-aware and aware of what's going on in my psychological process. But I also learned I need to be with people, because I tended to be a loner and I could be introverted, but I learned I needed to interact and give back to people.
How did you learn that? How did you learn you needed to do that?
Well, I mean, part of psychology, part I just understood that made me healthier. Because I remember I came to the understand that we are social beings and animals, and that we're sick when we're isolated by ourselves.
I see.
It's like a bee, a honeybee going off and doing his own thing. It doesn't work. Or it's like one of our blood cells deciding it's not going to do its function and go off, and it becomes a cancer cell. So I think individuals who are just like totally focused on themselves and taking all the resources more than they need are like more like cancer.
Right.
But often our society promotes that self-aggrandizement to the detriment of everybody else around you.
What you're saying, because of our show, it's focusing on teaching, mentoring, and learning. These are lifelong processes. As you described the transformations that you went through, you lived transforming experiences.
Yeah.
But while you were incarcerated, you experienced all of that.
Yeah,
So would you say that was the catalytic impact on your life, that time, that 11 years? Because as you described it, I thought about Malcolm X and the dictionary, the time